Ranga. Trinadapi sunichena Choradiva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Nama Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyata. Tonight, my lecture, the topic will be Sri Rādhikā Thākurāṇī. Tomorrow is the appearance day of Srimati Radharani. I will open with a verse from the Brihad Gautamiya Tantra. Devi Krishnamayi Prokta Rādhikā Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mayi Sarva Kanti Sammohani Para. The transcendental goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of Lord Sri Krishna. She is the central figure for all goddesses of fortune. Srimati Radharani possesses all the attractiveness to attract the all-attractive personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Srimati Radharani is the primeval internal potency of the Supreme Lord. In order to understand Srimati Radharani properly, one first has to understand the basic teachings of Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that there are two energies. One is inferior, one is superior. The inferior energy is known as the material energy, and the superior energy is the spiritual energy. This is clearly defined in the Bhagavad Gita by Sri Krishna. This first has to be understood. If one makes no distinction between the inferior material energy and the superior spiritual energy, then one will not understand who is Srimati Radharani. So this verse from the Brihad Gautamiya Tantra, each word has volumes of meaning. The very first word, if everyone could repeat, Devi. So the word Devi means that Srimati Radharani shines brilliantly. There is another mantra, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Srimati Radharani's complexion is like molten gold. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. Those who are knowledgeable, they are aware that Krishna's complexion is dark blue blackish, Siam. But Krishna wears a dhoti that is very yellow, corresponding to the complexion of Srimati Radharani. Radharani, who is golden, wears a garment that is deep blue blackish, corresponding to the complexion of Krishna. So she shines beautifully. Then the word Devi also means resplendent and most beautiful. In the pages of the Vedas, it is described how all the goddesses in the heavenly planets want to learn the art of dressing from Srimati Radharani. And it is also understood in the Vedic literatures that even the Lakshmis and the Gopis take their lead from this Srimati Radharani. And then the third definition of this word, Devi, the lovely abode of the worship and love sports of Lord Krishna. Indeed, the very name Radha, although not uttered by Shukadeva Goswami in Srimad Bhagavatam, out of fear of going into a trance and unable to finish the Bhagavatam for Maharaj Parikshit, Shukadeva was very careful not to utter her holy name. But the name Radha appears in one shloka in the 10th canto, where during the Rasa dance, Krishna, who had manifested himself amongst all the gopis, expanding himself so that each gopi could have her own Krishna to dance with, that's God. He expanded himself. In the middle of the Rasa Mandala was Radha and Krishna. But at a moment, Krishna disappeared from all the other gopis, and Rādhikā Thākurāṇī took Krishna away from the Rasa Mandala, deeper into the forest. She wanted personal attention without the others. So when Krishna disappeared amongst all the other gopis, those gopis said, aha, the one that Krishna left with must have worshipped Krishna better than us. Therefore the name Radha, as it says here, the lovely abode of the worship. When it comes to worshiping Krishna, nobody can exceed Srimati Radharani. That's one meaning of her name. Nobody can equal her or surpass. Just as in describing Krishna, there is a Sanskrit word, asama urdhva, meaning no one is equal to Krishna and no one is greater than Krishna. Asama urdhva, or when you put them together, asamaurdhva. So just as there's no equal or greater than Krishna, in the same way, no one is greater or equal to Srimati Rādhikā Thākurāṇī. Now, it also said love sports. Yes. Krishna has his own desires. Just as That's how you know you're a person. That's how you know you are alive. A dead, inanimate object has no desires. In the Buddhist meditation, they teach you should have no desires. But that is impossible. Because as long as you are alive, you have to have a desire. We even say the will to live. Only something dead has no desire. So as long as you're alive, and from the Bhagavad Gita we learn, we will always be alive. You were alive in the past, you're alive now, and according to second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you'll continue to be alive in the future. Do you need me to quote the verse? It's in second chapter. Right now, Krishna is not allowing me to remember. Here it comes. Natvam nemi janadipaha. That's only one line. Anyway, Krishna is reminding me I'm too puffed up. So therefore, Krishna gets a ding. I've quoted the verse hundreds of times, but just when you want it the most, Krishna says, no, I'm not going to allow you to remember. But trust me, the verse is there in chapter 2. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, neither in the future shall any of us cease to be. So, the original point is that just as you are a person alive, you have desires. So since God is a person, He also has desires. God is not a dead stone. He is Bhagavan. The difference between our desires and His desires, we have to work very hard to fulfill our desires. Whereas Krishna simply has to think it, there it is. He doesn't have to go to work and try for his desires to be fulfilled. As soon as he thinks it, it happens. That's why we're not God. And that's why Krishna is. So, who is the person who fulfills the desires of Krishna? There she is. Srimati Radharani. That's her function. You ask Radharani, what is your function in life? She will tell you, my function in life? Satisfy Krishna. There's a very nice chapter at the end of the book Chaitanya Charitamrita. And in the final section, we get a glimpse into the mentality of Srimati Radharani. And she says, if there's something that I like, but Krishna does not like it, I hate that thing. And if there's something that Krishna likes and I hate it, I love that thing. That's called pure, unalloyed love. And Radharani, she's not married to Krishna. They are, as it says here, love sports. They are lovers. Now this is very, very, very confidential. And for me to speak at length on this is not appropriate. But I did mention it, and that's as far as I'm going to go on that. But Radharani herself says that I don't consider myself Krishna's wife. Krishna has his wives, Rukmini, Satyabhama, Jambavati, Mitravinda, Bhadra, Lakshmana, he has only 16,108 wives, only. But Radharani says, no, I consider myself Krishna's maidservant. Yet, she is the one who worships Krishna the best. So that's the first word in our mantra. Now we go to the next word. Please repeat. Krishna Mai. So there are various meanings for the word Krishna Mai. One meaning, non-different from Krishna. Why? How can she be non-different? Think of the lamp, the candle, the fire. When you have a flame, two energies are there, heat and light. You cannot separate the heat and light from the flame. They are part and parcel. The heat and light are energies of the flame. Radharani is the energy of Krishna. There are three divisions of spiritual energy: Samvit, Sandhani, Hladani. Samvit, full knowledge. Sandhani, eternal existence. And Hladani, bliss. Srimati Radharani is the personification of bliss. When Krishna wants to enjoy, he manifests Srimati Radharani. So, since they are inseparable, just like in India, you all know that musk scent, musk or camphor, right? Once you get a piece of camphor, you know exactly, because it's so powerful, right? And you can't take it away, it's there. So similarly, you cannot separate Radha and Krishna. They are inseparable as musk and its scent. Just as, can you separate the sunlight from the sun? No. They're two different features, but they are inseparable. So, Radha and Krishna are always one. Even if they are so-called separated, each one is thinking of the other. There's not a moment, there cannot be a moment where Radharani is not thinking of Krishna. And vice versa. Krishna, the original Krishna, he's always thinking of Srimati Radharani. That is love. You know somebody loves you because they're always thinking of you. Ladies, I don't care how old you are, do you not think of your children? Right? I'm sure if I go to your houses, I'm going to see pictures of your children. I know this. This is a fact. So, Radharani even confessed to Uddhava. You all know who is Uddhava. He looks like Krishna. He's Krishna's messenger for the gopis. Yes. Still he was messenger. Still he was servant. So Krishna sent him with a message for the gopis. Uddhava stayed there for 2 months studying and serving, reminding the gopis of Krishna. And Radharani and the gopis confessed, even we think of Krishna and it gives us pain. So sometimes we try to not think of Krishna, but we can't do it. That's why Radharani can never fall into illusion. Even she, like, difference. We sometimes remember Krishna. Most of the time we forget. Radharani is just the opposite. She cannot forget. It is impossible. She never falls into illusion. Hare Krishna. I'm multitasking. I think I'm the only one who can do this. So that is another symptom, and that's why the next definition given of Krishnamayi. Can you all say that again? Krishnamayi. So the next because there's many definitions. So the next definition, one who's within and without, is Lord Krishna. Outside, wherever she casts her glance, she's trying to see Krishna. Sometimes in ecstasy, she's embracing a tamal tree. Why? Because that tamal tree has the same complexion as Krishna. And in her ecstasy, she thinks, oh, now I have Krishna, because she has gone mad in ecstasy. If she closes her eyes, the only thing she's going to think about is the pastime she's already had with Krishna and the expectation of when the next pastime will occur. So within and with, just like, I'll give you an example. I know somebody, not here, in South America, one businessman. He is money-mayi. He thinks of money while he's asleep, while he's awake, while he's with his children. Everything is money, 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 money. He even told me a couple of years ago, Prabhuji, when I die, my ashes, we're going to put in a golden casket. My ashes and all my money. I want my money to come with. You see how foolish? He thinks the money is going to go with it. This guy exists. I'm not making this guy up. It's amazing. So, anyway. Now, the next definition of, what was the word? Krishna? Krishna. She sees Krishna wherever she casts her glance. Wherever anything she sees, she's seeing Krishna. Therefore, she's, as we already explained, identical with Lord Krishna, because the energy and the energetic cannot be separated. Just like there's a material correspondence, Shiva Shakti. Like that. And then the last definition of Krishnamayi, embodiment of the mellows of love. My spiritual master Prabhupada once gave a lecture. He's saying that in the material world, this word love is bandied about. I love this alcohol. I love this type of sense gratification. But Prabhupada says this is not love. It's lust. Then Prabhupada explained, love means Radha Krishna. That's why the definition, embodiment of the mellows of love. Actually, Radha Krishna is the exchange of spiritual love. If there was no such thing as spiritual love, it could not be existing in the material world. For those of you who are familiar with the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 15, the opening verses explains how the material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Perverted reflection. And the example is given. A tree standing on the shore of a lake. If you look in the lake, the tree is reflected on the lake. But that reflection is not the real tree. It is a reflection. Similarly, hold on to your seats now. This entire material cosmic manifestation is a reflection of reality. If you think about it, it could make you lose your mind. What? Yes. And that's why there are so many verses in the Bhagavatam which explains how material existence is just like a dream, no different than the dreams you have at night. It looks real, it feels real, but it's a reflection. The reality is in the spiritual world. So in the same way, just like here we have people, trees, plants, we have everything here, it has to exist in its perfection in the spiritual world. Last night, I gave a class, I was challenged. It happens sometime. Because there's that verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Nattad Basayate Suyo, Nashashanka Napavaka, right? So, the way Prabhupada explains it, that in the spiritual world there is no need of sunlight, moonlight, electricity. The key word is need. So I was making the point, even though there's no need of a sun and moon, doesn't mean it doesn't exist in the spiritual world. And that's what they were challenging. There's a no, Prabhu. It says right here in Bhagavad Gita, there's no need. I said, no, but that's not idea. So I said, I will do the research, because I was challenged. So during the kirtan, I went in, I found my reference. And there it is in the Brahma Samhita. That yes, even though there's no need, the reason why there's no need is because in the spiritual world, everything is self-illumined. Still, there's a sun and a moon. And it was directly stated by Bhakti Siddhanta that otherwise, how can there be rasa dance every night in the spiritual world? There has to be a moon. So and that's why this understanding the perverted reflection, everything that's here is there in the spiritual world. Difference is no inebriety. Everything there is in perfection. The spiritual world is not void. It's full of variety. And unless it exists in the spiritual world, it can't have a reflect. Just like that tree. That reflection is only going to reflect what's there in the original tree, right? It's not that the reflection is going to show something different, more or less. It's going to be exactly the same. So similarly, this material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So Radharani is the embodiment of the mellows of love. I want everybody to chant. Okay, so the next word, very nice, Rādhikā. Everybody say. Rādhikā. So this person is called Rādhikā, as we already explained, the one who worships Lord Krishna the best. I already explained for those who came late. I gave the story from the Rasa dance, how Krishna left with, actually, Radharani left with Krishna, not that Krishna left with Radharani. Radharani led Krishna. She was feeling, I'm not getting special attention. So she started to leave the Rasa dance and Krishna followed. See how powerful Radharani is? That Krishna followed. And how he had disappeared from all the other gopis. And it says here, she fulfills the desires of Lord Krishna. That's what she does. Krishna has a desire, Radharani fulfills that desire. Let's go to the next word. Para Devata. So, many definitions. Most worshipable. In other words, We worship, especially tomorrow, Radhashtami. Radharani is most worshipable. But when you worship Radharani, just like it is recommended, you worship not Lakshmi alone, Lakshmi with Narayan. Prabhupada makes this point. It's better to worship her with, because if you worship Lakshmi alone, one of her names is Chanchala. Very good. Not a wise thing because she's fickle. But if you worship her with her husband, Narayan, solid. So we worship Lakshmi Narayan. Similarly, we should not worship Radharani separately. Worship Radha Krishna. Then it'll be very good. Just like we can worship Radha and Krishna every day. How? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. That Hara is Srimati Radharani. Hara. And the way Prabhupada explained on his first record, Mother Hara. Just like you have read so many times, Mother Sita, right? Mother Sita, she's the mother of the universe. So is Srimati Radharani. She is also Mother Hara. All right? Another meaning of Paradevata, the supreme goddess. The way the Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, after Krishna, there is Balaram, expands from Krishna. From Balaram, Narayan. From Narayan, there are so many Vishnu avatars. So it all began with Krishna. So in the same way, from Radharani expands all the gopis. All the gopis are Radha's expansions. Why? Because when you have many consorts, the festivities are enhanced. Just like, I have to take this opportunity. I was here for half of the ceremony yesterday, and on the way here, I was thinking I must say something about how nice the program was yesterday. And the reason why it was nice, there are many reasons, but that could not have happened unless there was nice management. That management meant you are all cooperating. That is the key of your success. If you maintain that cooperation, and I was watching, that's what I do, I watch. I close my mouth, I watch and learn. I was seeing how nicely organized you were. With cooperation, intelligent management, you will be topmost temple in Southern California. Another thing I noticed, I'm sure you know, but I feel obligated. You have 2 expert priests. Expert. I was watching Raghunandan and my good friend, and I was thinking, wow, you have got 2 jewels here. So your temple, you are sitting pretty good. Congratulations, that was an excellent ceremony yesterday. Excellent. It's so, you can see when there's cooperation, big things can happen. And trust me, in any spiritual organization, the hardest thing is cooperate. I know. I travel the world. I hear all the stories. They all tell me everything. That's another thing I do. Everybody tells me all over the world, Prabhu, it's like this or that. Cooperation is the most difficult thing to do. Prabhupada tells the story of his spiritual master, which is very appropriate. So, Bhakti Siddhanta spent a lot of money to build a big temple in Calcutta. But after the construction of the temple, Bhakti Siddhanta was disgusted. And he confided to Prabhupada in Radha Kund. And Bhakti Siddhanta said, "We spent so much money on constructing this temple. I want to take all the bricks out, dismantle the temple, and print books. Because after the temple was constructed, the disciples started to fight. I will take this room. I will take this room." They lost complete sight of the whole mission. So that will be a challenge. The challenge is not going to be constructing. You'll get it done. But after the construction, to continue to cooperate. And as I mentioned in my little talk, right? The attitude has to be, I am simply servant, not the master or enjoyer. I only bring this up because it's a reality. And it happens. It happens. Okay. Shall we go back to Srimati Radharani? All right. So she's the supreme goddess. So just as there's Krishna, then Balaram, then Narayan, then Chaturvyuha, and then all the other avatars are proceeding. So similarly, from Radharani expands all the gopis. From all the gopis comes the queens. From all the queens comes Lakshmi. So in the same way, Radharani is not to be outdone. Krishna expands, Srimati Radharani. Therefore, she's the supreme goddess. Protectress of all. Mother Hara, protectress of all, mother of the entire universe. Now comes next word. Please repeat. Sarva Lakshmi Mayi. All right, so I already explained how all the goddesses of fortune, Lakshmis, proceed from her. So that's already there. And she's the original source of all goddesses of fortune. But here's another third meaning of Sarva Lakshmi Mayi. Radharani fully represents the 6 opulences of Krishna. So what are those 6 opulences? Krishna, help me to remember the verse. Aishvarasya samagrasya viryasya yashasasriya jnana vairagyoschaiva shanang bhaga itingana. Thank you, Krishna. So, Radha says she fully represents these 6 opulences of Krishna. So, all wealth, all beauty, all fame, all knowledge, all strength, all renunciation. She represents those opulences. There is a wonderful pastime which sort of illustrates this. After Krishna killed Arishta Asura, the bull demon, there is that incident when Kamsa sent one demon who took the form of a bull and Krishna killed. So after the pastime, Radharani said, Krishna, you're contaminated. You cannot touch me. You have killed a bull, therefore you're contaminated. So Krishna decided, no problem, I will call all the holy rivers to come and bless me. So Krishna dug his foot in the ground and called all the holy rivers from the universe. Radharani, not to be outdone, she and all the gopis immediately dug a big lake known as Radha Kund. And the lake that Krishna dug was called Shamakund or Govindakund, whichever way. So you can see the gopis, when they dug their lake, they used their bracelets. So Radharani and all, immediately millions of, they made this big lake. And she also called sacred waters like that. And then it was arranged that they would bathe it. And that's why Radha Kund, according to Gaudiya Vaishnavas, is considered the most sacred spot in the universe. Because there's even a verse that just as Radharani is most dear to Krishna, even her bathing ghat is dear to Krishna. And it says that if you ever get one drop of that Radha Kund water on your head, you will achieve ecstatic love for Krishna. Thank you, Krishna. Once I took a bath in Radha Kund, 1976. Yes. Hey, but you only need it once. I'm saved. How else do you think I'm here now? It's all because of that bath in Radha Kund. Next word, please repeat. Sarvakanti. So, all splendor exists in Srimati Radharani. All beauty is there in Srimati Radharani. The Lakshmis derive their beauty from her. All of Krishna's desires rest in her. She fulfills all the desires of Lord Krishna. There's a very nice word. Next word, please repeat. Sammohini. Now this one gives us even more. Shh, confidential. Her character completely bewilders Lord Krishna. Now think about that. Krishna is Achyuta, never falls, never falls. He's Ajita, never conquered. But she bewilders him. Krishna is known as Madana Mohan, right? He bewildered Cupid. But Radharani is known as Madana Mohana Mohini. So who's more powerful, Krishna or Radha? Especially tomorrow. Shri Shri Radharaman Bhagavan Ki. No. Now the reason why she's more powerful is not because she works out at the gym. No. She's more powerful, and this is explained by Rupa Goswami, what he learned from Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya instructed Rupa Goswami for 10 days. And on the basis of that, Rupa Goswami wrote his book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So, as I just got saying, those of you who have read, did any demon ever defeat Krishna? Nope. Right? Even the demigods did not defeat Krishna. Brahma was defeated, Indra was defeated. These pastimes are there. So at the end of Krishna's Leela, undefeated, even when the hunter shot him in the foot, Krishna didn't die. Some people think Krishna died. He didn't die. In fact, when the hunter Jara shot Krishna in the foot, Jara came and he went, "Oh, I'm sorry, Krishna." Krishna said, "No problem, go back to Godhead." Yes, it's true. It's there in the 11th canto. I'm not making this up. Jara was taken directly to the spiritual world. It's not that Krishna died. Some people think Krishna died. No. Krishna can't die. He's God. I don't know where they get this. He died. No. So, the idea is that Krishna is invincible, unconquerable, but there's one thing more powerful than Krishna: love. And this concept is one of the things I love the most about this philosophy. That the presentation of God as given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, to me, there's nothing better that God, the Almighty, the All-Powerful, can be conquered by love. This concept seals the deal. I will never give up worshiping Krishna because of this point. That even though He's Almighty, He can be conquered by love. Like Ram, right? Ram ate that shabari, right? Right? Why? A love. Exactly. This is the nicest presentation of God. Not this vengeful God as is sometimes presented. No. A concept of God who is controlled by love. And that answers another question. What is it that God would be interested in us? If Krishna has Radharani, then what need does He have for us? What role do we play? Same idea, yes. What Krishna relishes, even though we're insignificant, even though we're infinitesimal, and God is unlimited, still, your free will, which you use to voluntarily love Krishna, that's bhakti. That is bhakti. We know from the Bhagavad Gita, or should know from Bhagavad Gita. You want to see God? Bhakti. You want to know God? Bhakti. You want to go to God? Bhakti. Not karma, not jnana, not yoga. It is bhakti. Very clear in Bhagavad Gita. 3 times at least in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna Himself says, to come, to know, to see, to return, it's bhakti. That's indisputable. It's right there. So even though we are insignificant, still, with your minute free will, you use that free will to, what does Krishna say? Manmana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru. That's it. Think of Krishna, become His devotee, worship Him, offer your obeisances. That pleases Him. That satisfies Him. Please never forget that. That's so important. That you have the ability to please God. Very simple. He just wants your love and attention. That's why we chant the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. So some Mohini, everybody say, she bewilders Krishna by her everything. By her beauty, by her actions, by her craftiness. Krishna tries to approach her, she plays hard to get. One time there's the pastime where Krishna's not paying attention, so Radha steals the flute. And Krishna's, I need my flute, that's everything. Radha says, I don't have it. Because what did she do? As soon as Krishna came to get the flute, she passed it to another gopi. And so Radha says, well, maybe you should try Vishaka. So then Krishna goes to Vishaka. Vishaka, I don't have it. And she gives it to Lalita. In this way, the flute passes through all the gopis, and Krishna has to approach each and every gopi to get his... And finally, he's so frustrated, he's crying. Ultimately, he gets his flute back. After a long play. Yes. Radharani enchants Krishna. Therefore, she is the supreme goddess of all. Then the next word, para. Everybody say. I explained this at the beginning, that in order to understand Radharani, you have to understand Bhagavad Gita. You have to understand the basic concepts and conclusions of Bhagavad Gita. That there are two energies, para, apara, superior and inferior. If you don't make a distinction and just say, well, it's just energy, then you'll not understand Radharani. But in the Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada makes it very clear, the material energy is called the inferior energy. The spiritual energy is called the superior energy. So there is a difference in the quality of the energies. So she, Radharani, I already explained, Hladini, she is the personification of bliss. Just like you could say, Nrsingadev is the personification of anger, right? When Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Kontaya pratajanahi name bhakta. So Krishna comes to, or in Bhagavad Gita, why Krishna comes, Vinashaya cha duskritam, that's Krishna's anger. Why did Krishna agree to appear? Because Mother Earth came to Lord Brahma with tears in her eyes in the form of a cow. And Brahma took her and the demigods to the ocean of milk. And then there was the message from Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. Brahma got the text message in his heart. And the text message was, I am coming. And why does Krishna come? To destroy the demons and to give pleasure to the... That's you. That's you. You are the devote. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. No demons can stay here more than 1 minute. Trust me, they go... Devotees and oil and water, they can't mix. They can't mix. Sri Radha is the full power. And Lord Krishna is the possessor of that full power. They are not separated. They're not independent. So in this way, tomorrow, the appearance day of Srimati Radharani, chant Hare Krishna, read about Srimati Radharani, and be happy.